we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. Listen to Craig Stammen's post-game comments. Plus, we'll bring you today's play of the game. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
Welcome into our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show here on the Padres Radio Network on this Monday evening. Final score in this series opener in Atlanta, the Braves 3 and the Padres 2. As the Padres drop the series opener, they fall back to 2 games below 500 at 49-51. Padres now 1-3 on this 10-game road trip. A lot to do. We'll hear from Craig Stammen back in Atlanta in a little bit. We'll recap this game from start to finish. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard and much, much more. As always, our post-game coverage brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort. Hey, player, need a little me time? Jamul Spa was just named one of the top 100 spas in America. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. Well, this one here today, really a good game, a close game. And unfortunately, the Padres just unable to muster up enough offense against Bryce Elder and the Atlanta bullpen. Really a tremendous performance out of the pen by Victor Medeiros, young right-hander, picking up his first professional save. We'll get into what Medeiros did. What we told you at the start of this game, really in the pregame, we told you that the Braves bullpen was short today. They had used Raisel Iglesias, their all-star closer, 2 days in a row. A number of other key guys, high-leverage guys in their pen. They had used 2 days in a row. So you knew if it was a close game late, if the Braves were ahead late, you knew that Atlanta was going to have to go about their bullpen a little bit differently in this game. And that's exactly how it played out. The Braves got a really good start from Bryce Elder, who gave up 2 runs on just 2 solo home runs, one to Manny in the 4th inning, one in the 7th inning to France to make it a 3-2 game. But after that, it really was the story of Danny Young and then Victor Medeiros getting the final 7 outs of this game, getting out of a big jam in the 7th inning, a scoreless 8th inning, a scoreless 9th inning, and that was that in this one. Look, the Padres pitching was totally fine in this game. J.P. Sears, 5 innings, 2 runs given up, 1 earned. There was a big catcher's interference in a portion of this game. We'll get into it. Wandy Peralta gave up a home run to Ozzie Albies that ended up being the game-deciding run. Rodriguez, Hart, scoreless innings. Look, bottom line is this. Padres pitching gave up 3 runs on 4 hits in this game. 3 runs on 4 hits most days in a Major League Baseball game. That is good enough to win. This was just a low-scoring, tight game. You were sort of hoping as it went along that the Padres offense would be able to muster up more, especially, a day after they scored 19 runs on 19 hits in the series finale in Kansas City, but unfortunately did not go that way here today as the Padres fall 3-2. They drop this series opener in Atlanta. When we return, we have all the radio highlights for you. Recap this game from start to finish. We'll hear from Craig Stammen coming up a little bit later as well. Padres lose the series opener, first game of 4 this week in Atlanta. At time of year, as you know, it is very important for the Padres to rack up wins. We will discuss it all when we return on the Padres Radio Network. Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our Padres Radio Network studios as we continue to wrap this one up. Final score today in Atlanta, Braves 3 and the Padres 2 as the Padres drop the opener of this 4-game series. Padres now just 1-3 on this road trip so far, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. Padres got to face some really good starting pitching in Atlanta coming up, so not the way you drew it up or you wanted to draw it up, going 1-3 on the road trip to this point, but is what it is, and the Padres will try to bounce back tomorrow. Right now, let's recap this series opener from start to finish.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Padres had a really good scoring opportunity early. They put 2 on with 1 out in the top of the first inning against Braves starter Bryce Elder. Fernando Tatis Jr. was then caught trying to steal third. Ty France grounded out to end the inning, and the Padres came up empty in the opening frame. J.P. Sears was terrific to start this game. A 1-2-3 first, a 1-2-3 second, a 1-2-3 third, 3 perfect innings for J.P. We still had a 0-0 game. Going to the top of the fourth inning, Manny Machado dug in against Elder.
Elder will deal, and Manny swings, sends it in the air, deep to left center field. Harris racing back at the wall. This one is gone, a home run. Manny Machado clears the yellow line. Little kid in the Acuna jersey caught it. Not Harris. And for Machado, a home run to give the Padres a lead. It's 1-0.
Home run number 20 on the season for Manny. Padres had the early 1-0 lead. That's all the Padres scored in the fourth inning. Sears retired the first 10 batters he faced. He allowed a single to Ozzie Albies with 1 out in the fourth, but immediately got a double play ball. 4 scoreless innings for Sears to begin his night. Sears then went back to work in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Padres still up 1-0. Michael Harris II stepped in for Atlanta.
0-1 to Harris. Sears deals, and that's in the air up the right field line. Fernando back towards the corner, looking up, and it's going to go. Home run, Michael Harris II. 18th of the year, and with that one swing of the bat, this game is tied in the bottom of the fifth.
Mauricio Dubon reached on catcher's interference. That would end up being very important because he was on first base for the Braves catcher, Joey Bart.
Here's the pitch, and Bart hits it firmly on the ground and fair up the third baseline. That'll kick off the shorter wall, so Sheets has to run all the way in to come and get it. They're going to wave Dubon. Sheets' throw home is cut by Machado. The run scores, and the Braves have gone ahead. It's 2-1.
So J.P. Sears giving up 2 runs in that fifth inning. The Braves taking a 2-1 lead. 1 earned, though, in that fifth inning for Sears. Again, the catcher's interference and error on Freddie Fermin behind the plate. Unfortunately, that run ended up scoring. So good outing for Sears. 5 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned, given up. Padres down 2-1 going to the 6th inning. Elder pitched the scoreless top half of the inning. In the bottom half, Wandy Peralta came on. He faced Ozzie Albies.
1-2 in the air, deep to left field. Sheets is backing up, still going back at the wall. It's going to go into the Padre bullpen in left field. Ozzie Albies with his second hit of the night, and it is his 15th home run of the year. Braves extend the lead. It's 3-1 here in the 6th.
Braves leading 3-1 going to the 7th inning. Elder still working on the mound. Ty France led off for San Diego.
First pitch, Ty France swings, sends it in the air deep to left field. Dubon is back at the wall. This one gonna go! Ty France homers again. His third in the last 2 days, and a 1-run game here in Atlanta.
Not just his third in the last 2 days, but also the first time in Ty France's career he's hit 5 home runs in a 6-game span. So Ty France remaining red hot, pulled the Padres within a single run, down 3-2 in the 7th inning. That was it for Elder. Lefty Danny Young came in for Atlanta. Luis Rengifo hit a pitch hit single to put the tying run on base. He would eventually get to third base with 2 men away. Craig Stammen pinch hit for Freddie Fermin with Luis Campusano. Walt Weiss went to righty Victor Medeiros to face him. Campusano walked. Sung Moon Song then flew out. The inning over, Padres still trailing 3-2. They left that tying run 90 feet away from scoring. Bradley Rodriguez tossed the scoreless. Bottom of the 7th inning, Madero's pitched a 1-2-3. Top of the 8th inning against the top of the Padre lineup. Kyle Hart tossed a scoreless bottom of the 8th inning. Madero's returned for the 9th inning. Padres still trailing just 3-2. Luis Rengifo reached on a 1-out single to put the tying run on base. Xander Bogaerts lined out the center for out number 2. The Padres again, the tying run on, down 3-2. The game left up to Jake Cronenworth.
31,000 on their feet as Cronenworth hits a one-hopper to second. Albies has it go in and out of his glove. Flips to second in time. That's a force of Rengifo, and the ball game is over. Padres got the tying run on base in the top of the 9th inning, but that will not be enough as the Braves hold on for a 3-2 win in Game 1 of this 4-game series.
Yeah, what a job by Victor Madero's 2 1/3 scoreless innings to finish the game. His first professional save at any level. The Padres got within a run. They had opportunities with the tying run and go-ahead run on base at different points, but the Padres could not find a way to equalize, and they dropped this game 3-2 in Atlanta. Final totals here today for the Padres: 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. For the Braves, 3 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. Padres dropped to 49-51. The Braves improved to 58-41. Winning pitcher today, Bryce Elder, who improves to 6-6. Losing pitcher, J.P. Sears, who drops to 2-3. When we come back, we'll go back to Atlanta, hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. Again, the Padres falling 3-2 in this series opener against the Braves. Our post-game coverage continues after these words. Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our Padres Radio Network studios as we continue to wrap this one up. Final score here today, Braves 3 and the Padres 2 as the Padres fall in this series opener in Atlanta. Still a lot to do. We'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen coming up in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. Padres now 1-3 on this 10-game road trip, 3 games in Kansas City. Those are done, 3 more in Atlanta, and then 3 more in Miami to wrap up the road trip next weekend before the Padres return home. There is one stat in this game that I think sort of wraps up the issue for the Padres here today. Look, they did not have a ton of offensive opportunities in this game. The 2 runs they got were via the solo home runs from Machado and France, and home runs are good. But the Padres had 3 at-bats today with runners in scoring position. But when you really think about this game, they were very, very critical in what was a low-scoring, tight one-run game. How about the first inning? You've got Bryce Elder out there, who, by the way, Bryce Elder came in an 11 ERA in his 3 prior starts. Now, he had been very, very good for the most part earlier in the season, but as of late, he had not been good at all for Atlanta. You got him on the ropes in the first inning. You put runners on first and second with 1 out. Fernando Tatis Jr. gets thrown out trying to steal third base, and then France grounds out. The inning is over. So in that spot, the Padres end up, having 1 at-bat with a runner in scoring position there. They're 0 for 1 in that spot. Then they get another at-bat with a runner in scoring position in the 7th inning. Remember, the Padres are down 3-2 at that point. They've got the runner on second base. Xander Bogaerts grounds out. That's 0 for 2. And then you had the fly out by Sungmoon Song to end that 7th inning. So you had 3 at-bats with runners in scoring position. One of them came in the first inning when you had a golden opportunity against the Atlanta starter. And then in the 7th inning, you had the tying and go-ahead runs on base. You had a couple of chances to drive in that game-tying run in the 7th inning. Padres couldn't do it. And then after that, the story of this game, I think, just from an Atlanta standpoint, no doubt was Victor Medeiros, who was absolutely terrific. I mean, you talk about showing up on a day where your bullpen needed you, your team needed you in a huge way. Again, a big theme of this game coming in, Braves were going to be short in their bullpen. We knew that coming in. And Medeiros goes out there, gets out of the jam in the 7th inning, strands the tying run on third base, and then ends up getting the next 6 outs in the 8th and 9th to pick up his first save at any professional level. So, look, in that sense, tip of the cap, when it's when it makes sense. I don't mind doing it when it makes sense. That does seem like a scenario today where it makes sense. Medeiros was so good, so important for the Braves today, but, to the detriment of the Padres, who end up being unable to cash in with that tying run in scoring position. And then, again, just before we hear from Craig, you couldn't have asked for really anything more from your pitching staff today. I mean, keep in mind, the Braves offense had been so good as of late. This is not the same Braves team we saw in June. Braves offense in their series against the Texas Rangers over the weekend. Just to give you an idea, they hit 9 home runs and scored 29 runs in the 3 games over the weekend. 9 home runs and 29 runs. So this was not a Braves offense that was, coming in slumping like they were when the Padres swept them in Atlanta. We talked about it with Tony in the pregame. This was going to be a very different kind of series. It was, because this Braves team they're not, beating everybody up, but they are playing a lot better than they were when the Padres last saw them, especially offensively. And it's not like the Braves did anything otherworldly offensively in this game. They had 3 runs on 4 hits, and the pitching was good. JP Sears gives up 1 earned run in 5 innings, and then you had Peralta give up the home run to Albies. Ends up being a game-deciding swing, and Rodriguez and Hart kept it a 1-run game. So the pitching plenty good. Offense, quite frankly, not good enough. Padres needed a little bit more. Couldn't get it in this loss here today. Final score again, Braves 3, Padres 2. Let's go back to Truist Park in Atlanta and hear from Padre manager Craig Stammen.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stammen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
Probably the starting pitcher gave you a good one, and kind of it was just a little too tense leaving in there.
Yeah. JP pitched pretty good. He's feeling a little under the weather today, so I think he was limited in that, but he pitched great for the way he was feeling coming in. Catcher's interference and then a double, gave him that go-ahead run in that spot, and they hit a couple solo homers. So overall, we pitched great. They only had 4 hits. We just weren't able to get that runner in the 7th that we needed to get in, and we weren't able to string anything together either. First inning, had a little rally going, and then bang play at third base that just didn't go our way. So we had the chances to win and didn't come through tonight.
The fact that you have given yourself a lot of chances and the inconsistency of being able to score runs, what can you say or explain about that?
Yeah, part of it's just baseball. Is like if scoring runs was linear and you could always do it and you could count on the same amount of runs every single game, there wouldn't be as many hitting coaches as there are, and there's a lot of those. I think every team's trying to figure out how you can be more consistent on offense and get a consistent output every single night. We're working on that every single night also and day, and trying to figure that out. It's just you scored 19 one game, you scored 2 the next. A couple big solo home runs. It'd be nice if somebody's on base. That changes the complexion of the game, but it wasn't to be tonight.
How imperative is it to get, like when you get a performance like you got from JP under the weather, to go out and do what he did, to kind of capitalize on that offensively with more than what you?
Yeah, the pitching did their job tonight. We limited, a really good offense to only 3 runs and held them down for the majority of the game, only 4 hits. They come in swinging hot bats. They, put a lot of runs up on the Rangers the previous series. So, very good job by our pitching tonight. Sometimes we just need the offense to pick them up a little bit. And, yesterday they carried the load. Today, just couldn't quite get that extra run across.
How's Campy feeling? Like, obviously, he was good enough to draw the walk. Like, would you have felt comfortable letting him run for himself there, or is it more because of what he's dealing with? Yeah,
I think, we thought Jace could possibly steal a base right there and like the matchup with the lefty against the righty. We're going to be able to change him out. So, felt good with that. But, yeah, also we're monitoring Campy's workload. That's for sure. That's part of the decision-making also.
This time of year, knowing what's coming up with the trade deadline and all that, how magnified does every loss feel, especially the close ones?
It's a long, like if you're looking at just the trade deadline, these games are important, but I don't think it's like the season's over if like you lose a game before the trade deadline. There's going to be 50 games past the trade deadline that are equally as important as these 10 games. And so like we're focused on finishing the season well, not just to the trade deadline.
Someone made some nice play at the shortstop. Did you expect him?
Yeah, well, from what we saw in spring training, he was really good with the glove. We thought right from day one he was very impressive in that regard, and he's only continued to impress us with how he's played defense. And he can play second, he can play short, and he can play third, and he's very good at all 3.
How useful, given that he can do all that and that you can use that DH spot for some of your regular guys?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be really good going forward at the end of the season to have Manny and Bogarts fresh at the end, be able to play Song at short and third, and eventually Crony too, play him at second, and just give those guys just a little bit of breather, get them off their legs.
I think you get Rengifo in there.
Yeah, the way Rengifo's swinging, he's working his way into the lineup for sure. You take at bats like that, you continue to get hits. It's hard to keep a guy like that on the bench. Although you have someone like that on the bench, it's a weapon also. And I think our team, just speaks that we have a team that is capable of doing a lot of different things. We have a good roster. Now, can we put it all together and win some games in a row? That's what we're going for.
Think of Manny's bottom getting down the line.
Yeah. He got down the line very well. He also got down the line very well in his home run. So I'll take both of those every single night, and that would be great.
That was Padres manager Craig Stammen following this 3-2 loss to the Braves in Atlanta. Sam Levitt back with you inside our Padres Radio Network studios as we continue to wrap this one up. As always, our postgame coverage brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Just to touch on a few things that Craig talked about there. Yeah, Luis Rengifo, bright spot in this game, did have 2 hits, and he's played pretty well since getting called up from AAA, joining the Padres. So you do wonder if they'll try to get him into the lineup a little bit more, there's going to be more opportunity to do it with Miguel Andujar going on the IL earlier today. If you missed that, that was the big news before today's game. Andujar hit by a pitch yesterday. Didn't think a whole lot of it, but ended up having a fracture in his left wrist and went on the IL. So if they do want to get Rengifo in a little bit more, they'll have the opportunity, I think, to do that more. And he did well today. Had a hit from both sides of the plate. Was an impressive day for Rengifo. Just to go back to the Sears outing, JP goes 5 innings. Again, the catcher's interference was unfortunate. It was unfortunate that Bart doubled right after that. I get that. You know what? Sometimes it happens. Every catcher in baseball at some point over the course of the year is going to commit a catcher's interference. Like, it happens. That's not why the Padres lost this game. I understand it's frustrating. It's not why the Padres lost this game. It just isn't. So, Sears, again, 2 runs allowed, 1 earned, 3 hits. He was good, didn't walk anybody. But I will tell you, I didn't have any issue with Craig Stammen taking Sears out when he did. And I'll tell you why. Now JP was at 55 pitches, so he's got plenty of pitches left. However, I do think you're tempting fate a little bit. You leave him in third time through the order. That's what it would have been in the 6th inning. He got hit significantly harder in the 5th inning than he had got hit in the first 4. Look, sometimes I think, especially when the Padres have had the starting pitching issues they've had, sometimes you get 5 solid innings, you're right in a game. You don't want Sears to face the order a third time. Really good Atlanta lineup, especially at the top of the lineup with Baldwin, Albies, Olsen, Riley Harris. I didn't have much issue with it. Now, it was unfortunate that Peralta came in, immediately gave up a home run, and made it a 3-1 game. And that swing by Albies ended up being the game-deciding swing. But, look, the bullpen was fine. Again, it's very hard for me to look at this game and point to the pitching. I mean, this is, again, a Braves offense that came in 29 runs in 3 games over the weekend against Texas. The Padres gave up 3 runs on 4 hits in this game. So Padres needed a little bit more offense. They needed a big hit with a runner in scoring position and could not get those things in this game. When we return, we'll continue to break this one down. We have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up a little bit later as well. If you want to get a phone call in, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call, as always, 833-288-0973. Final score here today: Braves 3, Padres 2 in this series opener in Atlanta on the Padres Radio Network. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here today, Braves 3, Padres 2, as the Padres fall in this series opener in Atlanta, dropping to a record of 49-51 on the season. We are 2 weeks away from the trade deadline. We'll get into the out-of-town scoreboard. Padres entered today 2.5 games out of a playoff spot, out of the final wild card spot in the National League. On one hand, it's not insurmountable. On the other hand, Padres got a whole lot of teams between them in that spot. So it is a tough road ahead. No doubt you're going to have to play good baseball. Look, it's no doubt about it. Very important stretch for this ball club with that trade deadline looming, the decisions you got to make around this time of year, and certainly not where the Padres envision themselves being at 2 games below 500 at 49-51. As always, our postgame coverage brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort. Hey, player, the rooftop pool's open, day passes are available, and the spa is calling your name. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. Let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, brought to you by San Diego criminal defense attorney David P. Shapiro. We help good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. Learn more at davidpshapirolaw.com.
You know, look, I'd love to give it to Rodriguez or Hart because they did a good job keeping it a one-run game. And very often, if you listen to me post-game, you know, I'll always try with these daily awards to, you know, err on the Padres side of things, and Rodriguez and Hart did a good job. They did. Kept it a one-run game, gave the Padres every opportunity to come back and tie this game. However, tonight's a little bit different. I don't know how you can look at the Braves side of things and what the right-hander Victor Medeiros did and not give it to him today. Again, we said it during the pregame. The Braves bullpen was short. It was a clear advantage the Padres had entering this game. Raisel Iglesias had pitched 2 days in a row. Same for Dylan Dodd. Same for Didier Fuentes. Same for Dylan Lee. You knew if the Braves had a late lead in a tight game, you knew they were going to have to do something different with their bullpen, and they were faced with that scenario today. And this guy, Victor Medeiros, came in, not only gets out of a big jam in the 7th inning with the tying run on base, but then goes out in the 8th inning, 1-2-3 frame against the very top of the Padre lineup, Tatis, Merrill, and Machado, and then the tying run on base in the 9th inning, and he works around it. He got the final 7 outs of this game, 2 innings and a third. He's not an experienced pitcher. You know, Medeiros, let's see, how many career appearances does Victor Medeiros have? Today was his 17th career appearance. Now, he had cups of coffee in the major leagues with the Angels in 23, 24, 25. This guy's made 5 appearances as a Brave. He's got 17 total appearances as a major leaguer. So for that reason, for Medeiros to come in and do what he did today and pick up his first save at any professional level, that was mighty impressive today. It was. So, pains me to say it, but it's got to be Medeiros for the impact he had on this game from a Brave standpoint. So really, really, really good work. Again, got out of the big jam in the 7th inning, stranded the tying run 90 feet away, and then gets the final 6 outs in the 8th inning and the 9th inning. I mean, if you're Walt Weiss and if you're the Braves, I mean, you're just thrilled with what Medeiros did. I mean, he's the MVP of your game, no doubt about it. So tough break for the Padres in that sense because Medeiros was so good, but we'll give our relief pitcher of the game to the Brave right-hander, Victor Medeiros. Let's tell you about the Padres' heart of the order.
Let's take the pulse of the Padres and check in on the heart of the order, presented by Palomar Health Medical Group.
Now, heart of the order here tonight was pretty productive. Not the number 2 hitter, Jackson Merrill. Well, he's not Hart, technically. We'll get to Merrill in a second. 3, 4, 5 hitters. Manny, 2 for 4 with the home run. Franz, 2 for 4 with the home run. Manny's actually, his other hit was the bunt single in the 1st inning. But Franz hit 2 hits, the home run. Manny, 2 hits, the home run. Gavin Sheets didn't have a hit, but then he had Rengifo come in the number 5 spot in the lineup. He had 2 hits after he pinch hit for Sheets in the in the seventh inning. So nice job by Rengifo. So fairly productive. Machado, 2 hits. Again, the home run. France, the home run. Let's look at the heart of the order, the 3, 4, 5 spots for the Padres here today. One disappointing, element of this game, the top 2 hitters in the Padres lineup, Tatis and Merrill, went a combined 0 for 7. And I just say that's disappointing because, number one, Fernando had a home run in each of his last 2 games, had a really, really good series in Kansas City. And then Jackson Merrill has that 4-hit game yesterday, the 2 home runs, and you were just hoping that would spark Jackson into a nice night in this series opener. Doesn't mean he's not going to have a good series. He's still got plenty of time to do that. But, it was a quiet night for Tatis and Merrill, unfortunately. When we return, we'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard and much, much more as we continue to wrap this one up. Final score here today, Braves 3, Padres 2. Our post-game coverage continues after this. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here today, the Braves 3 and the Padres 2. We'll preview tomorrow's game 2 of this 4-game series coming up in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. But right now, let's give you a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Monday.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Let's get to the finals we already have today. The Royals beat the Giants in Kansas City 4-3. Brewers over the Mets 8-3 in Milwaukee. The Red Sox won a 14th in a row. My goodness. 6-5 at Fenway tonight over the Orioles. The Rays beat the Blue Jays in Toronto 7-1. Yankees beat the Pirates in New York in the Bronx. Jazz Chisholm Jr. 2 home runs in that game. Yankees beating the Pirates 8-5 in that one. Phillies beat the Dodgers 10-7 in Philadelphia. Trey Turner, Brandon Marsh hitting home runs in that game for Philly. And the Guardians beat the Twins 13-4 in Cleveland. Rhys Hoskins, 2 home runs in that game for Cleveland. We have a number of games going on right now. White Sox ahead of the Rangers 5-3 in Arlington in the 8th inning. Tigers lead the Cubs 4-3 at Wrigley in the 7th inning. Astros 8, Marlins 4 in Houston in the 8th inning. Nationals leading the Rockies 4-3 in Colorado in the 7th inning. A's ahead of the Diamondbacks 1-0 in Arizona in the 3rd, and the Reds and Mariners scoreless in the 4th inning in Seattle. Cardinals just took a 1-0 lead against the Angels in Anaheim. They're in the 2nd there. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Monday. Final score again here today in Atlanta. Braves 3, Padres 2. Let's hear today's play of the game.
One bounce, one hit, one pitch can be the difference between victory and defeat. What was the most important play in today's game? This is today's play of the game. Presented by Phil Hell Plumbing, Heating and Air, Restoration and Flood. We know how.
1-2 in the air, deep to left field. Sheets is backing up, still going back at the wall. It's going to go into the Padre bullpen in left field. Ozzie Albies with his 2nd hit of the night, and it is his 15th home run of the year. Braves extend the lead. It's 3-1 here in the 6th.
That was our play of the game here tonight. Unfortunately, sort of had to be that way. That ended up being the game-deciding run. Albies sitting the home run off Wandy Peralta from the right side. The switch hitter in Albies made it a 3-1 game. Padres would make it 3-2. They got the home run by France to make it 3-2 in the 7th inning. They would get the tying run at third base, but could not find a way to get it home. And that was the story. That's a 3rd run the Braves scored tonight was the decisive run. So for that reason, that was tonight's play of the game. All right, taking a look ahead to tomorrow and the rest of this series in Atlanta. I mentioned it earlier. One thing you don't love from a Padres standpoint is you got to face some good starting pitching for the Braves here coming up. Tomorrow, Padres will take on right-hander Reynaldo Lopez for Atlanta. Right-hander Walker Buehler on the mound for the Padres. Remember, the Padres will face left-hander Chris Sale on Thursday. Right now, it's TBA for the Braves on Wednesday, but going to be tough. You got Lopez tomorrow. You got Sale on Thursday, so Padres will have to find a way to bounce back during this series after losing the series opener. Again, Buehler on the mound for the Padres tomorrow. Lopez on the mound for Atlanta. First pitch again, same time, same place. 4:15 p.m. on the West Coast is first pitch, and our pregame coverage will begin at 3:15. As always, if you missed any portion of our postgame coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast, available on the free Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our postgame coverage there as well. A look at the final totals in this series opener here tonight. For the San Diego Padres, 2 runs on 7 hits, 1 error. They left on 5. For the Braves, 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. They left on 2. Winning pitcher today, Bryce Elder, who improves to 6-6. Losing pitcher, JP Sears, who drops to 2-3. And the save goes to Victor Maderos, his first save of the season. In fact, the first save of his professional career. Time of game in Atlanta tonight, 2 hours and 20 minutes, and the crowd at Truist Park, 31,263. Once again, first pitch tomorrow, 4:15 p.m. Our pregame coverage will begin at 3:15. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Kyle Ovenshire, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from inside our Padres Radio Network studios. Again, the final score here tonight, the Atlanta Braves 3 and the San Diego Padres 2. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great rest of your Monday.